Likutei Amarim, chapter 48. We're going to give brief overviews of what we learned until now. Chapter 46 explained the simple yet profound way to attain love of God by mirroring His love for us. When we realize the contrast of His greatness versus our smallness and how He nonetheless puts everything aside for our personal relationship. The analogy is the great King embracing the low life unconditionally, initiating a close bond. Chapter 47 translated man's response to above meditation as a personal exodus, leaving bodily bondage for freedom of spirit, specifically articulated in the Shema. Chapter 48 returns to discuss God's greatness in and beyond creation, to further magnify the value and implications of His self-contraction, Tzimtzum, in coming down towards us, i.e. the sacrifice involved. Chapter 49 will culminate this theme, inspiring us to mirror God's selflessness and how it is represented in the blessings leading up to Shema. In today's lesson, without Tzimtzum, contraction of godly infinite light, creation would not be possible. Perech Memches. Having previously explained that God showed His love for the Jewish people by taking them out of the physical servitude of Egypt, the Alter Rebbe concluded chapter 47 by describing the love God shows His people by releasing them from a spiritual dimension of Egyptian bondage. This spiritual exodus is daily manifest within all Jewish souls. It is natural, therefore, that Jews should reciprocate with love, like the water that mirrors the face of the beholder, and thereby strive to overcome all obstacles that hinder their service of God. Contemplating the greatness of the blessed Ein Sof, V'hi nikar asher yizbonim, hamaskil b'gdulas Ein Sof Baruch Hu, ki kishmoi kenhu, Ein Sof Ein Kate V'sachlis Klau, L'or V'chayos hamispashet mimenu. Yisbarech b'rtzoinei hapashut. Contemplating the greatness of the blessed Ein Sof, the thinking person will come to realization that, as his name indicates, so is he. There no end or limit or finitude at all to the light and vitality that diffuse from his simple will. Simple in the sense that it has no cause, nor is it subject to the limitations inherent in mortal will. Yuchad hamahusai v'atzmosai yisbarek v'sachlis hayichud, in which is not limited, which is united with His essence and being in perfect unity. Being infinite, God's light cannot give rise to created infinite beings unless it first undergoes the series of self-limiting, self-concealing contractions known as Tzimtzumim, as is now stated. Ve'ilu hasa hishtaushlos ha'elyainmos me'or Ein Sof Baruch Hu b'li Tzimtzumim Rach Keseder Hamadregais Mimadrega Lemadrega Bederech Ila Va'alu. Had the worlds descended from the light of the blessed Ein Sof without contractions, but according to a gradual descent from grade to grade by means of cause and effect, the loftier level being the direct cause for the manifestation of the level immediately following it. Such is the case with regard to thought and speech. That which a person speaks is first found within his thought. Thought is the cause and speech is the effect. Though thought is more spiritual than speech, the two levels stand in a certain proportion to each other, that, for example, both are composed of letters and form words. Lo haya ha'olam hazeh nivra klau kamo shehu ata bivchinas gvul v'sachlis Meha'aretz l'rakia mahalach tafkuf shana, 500 years. This world and all it contains would not have been created in its present form, in a finite and limited order. From the earth to the firmament is a distance of 500 years. 500 years journey being a finite dimension. V'kein bein kol rakia l'rakia, v'kein oivi kol rakia v'rakia. And similarly limited is the distance between one firmament and the next, and so also the radial extent of each firmament is a distance of 500 years. And all the above applies to this world. V'afilu olam haba b'gan Eden helyain. Midor nishmos hatzadikim hagadalim. Even the world to come and the higher level of Gan Eden, the abode of the souls of the great tzaddikim and the souls themselves, and needless to add, the angels, all are in the realm of bounds and limitation. Ki yesh gevul v'hasagasan ba'or ein sof baruch hu hameir olehen behislabshus chachma bina v'das hulu. And there is a limit to their apprehension of the light of the blessed Ein Sof, which shines upon them through being clothed in Chabad, and so on. Souls and angels in these worlds comprehend godliness as a result of its vestiture in the Chabad of those worlds. Though lofty, their comprehension is nonetheless limited. V'lechein yesh gavul lahanasan sheneheginin miziv hashchina umizangin ba'or Hashem. Hence, there is also a limit to the enjoyment that they derive from the rays of the Shekhinah and to their pleasure in the light of God. For they are incapable of deriving enjoyment and delight of an infinite order without being nullified out of their existence and returning to their source. Ki ein yocholin lekabel hana v'sanug bivchinas ein sof mamish lo yisbatlu mimsiusan v'yachzru limkoiren. Thus, even the creatures of the highest spiritual worlds are finite, and in order for them to be created in a finite manner, the process of contraction must be invoked. Being finite, they are totally dissimilar to their source, the infinite godly light that exists prior to contraction. So the takeaway for the Fridays is that God is endless and infinite, without limitation. The world is finite and limited. There must have been a real diminution and contraction of divine energy for the world to even exist. So, here we go in today's lesson. Likutei amarim, a collection of sayings, chapter 48. In today's lesson, the purpose of the Tzimtzum is that the godly light be contracted so much so that it create and animate our lowly physical world. V'hine paratios hatzimtzumim ein uma ein kan makim beyuram. Now, as for the intricate details of the contractions, how they achieve their effect and what they actually are, this is not the place for their explanation. Ach derech klau, hein heim bechinas hester v'ha'elem hamshachas ha'or v'ha'chayos. But in general, they are something in the nature of an obscuring and concealment of the flow of light and vitality. Shaloi ya'ir v'yumshach l'tachtainim bivchinas giloi lehishlabesh ulhashpia bahen u'hachayosan liyos yesh me'ayin ki im mat mizer or v'chayos bichdei sheyiyu bivchinas gvul v'sachlis. But in general, they are something in the nature of an obscuring and concealment of the flow of light and vitality. And so the light and vitality should illumine and reach the lower creatures in a revealed manner, pervading them and acting in them and animating them in such a way that they exist ex nihilo. Ki im ad miser or, in only an extremely minute measure, so that they be in a state of finitude and limitation. Were their life force to be revealed within them, they would be infinite. Contraction ensures that the light and vitality which is in their life force remains concealed from them. All that is revealed is but a minute degree of light and vitality. Shehi ha'ara mu'eteres ma'od umamish klau chashive legabe v'chinas ha'ara b'li gvul v'sachlis v'ein v'nehem eirech v'yachas klau. Were the life force to be revealed within them, they would be infinite. Contraction ensures that the light and vitality which is their life force remains concealed from them. All that is revealed is but a minute degree of light and vitality. This light and vitality that is revealed within them after the contraction constitutes an infinitesimal illumination, and is truly considered as naught when compared with the quality of the limitless and infinite illumination. And there is no proportion or relationship between them, i.e., they are not quantitatively different, not even immensely different in quantity, but of a wholly different and incomparable quality. Kenoida perush milas erech b'misparim she'achad b'mispar yesh lo erech legabe mispar elafim shehu chelek echad mini elafim. As the term proportion is understood in number values, where the number 1 stands in a certain ratio to the number 1 million, for it is a 1/millionth part of it. The sum of 1 million is merely the sum of 1 million ones. Subtract but 1, and the million ceases to exist. A clear demonstration of the relation that subsists between 1 and a million. Aval gabe davar shohu bivchinas bli gvul umispar klau ein kenegdai shum erech v'misparim. But as regards a thing which transcends finitude and numeration, there is no number, however great, that can be relative to it. She'afilu elif alfei elafim v'riboy ravavos einam אפילו כערך מספר אחד לגבי אלף אלפי אלפים וריבוי ורבבות. For a billion and a trillion, when compared to infinity, do not even attain the relevancy of the value of one in comparison with a billion or a trillion. Ella kalal mamish shive. For the sum of one retains some degree of relevance even when compared to a trillion. It is in fact 1/trillionth of it, while even a sum as large as a trillion has no relevance at all when compared to the realm of the infinite, but is veritably accounted as nothing. The infinite light is termed circular energy because it cannot enter the recipient internally, for the latter is limited. Only a finite light, a result of Simpson contraction, can be invested in the creation and adapt accordingly. Vakaka mamishi bechinas ha'ara me'etes zoi ha'mislabeshes ba'elamos al yainim v'sachtainim v'hashbia behem v'hachayosam. So indeed, in the utterly insignificant quality of this minute illumination after the contraction, which clothes itself in the higher and lower worlds in order to provide them with sustenance and light. Lagabe Erich or Haganuz V'na'olam Shehu Bivchinas Ein Sof. When compared with the quality of the hidden and concealed light that is of an infinite order. Ve'eno mislabesh umashpia ba'lamos bivchinas giloi lahachayosam eila makif aleihim milmaila v'nikra soivev kalamim, and does not clothe itself or exercise its influence in the worlds in a revealed manner, providing them with life, but encompasses them from above, i.e., in example, it exerts its influence while remaining on its own level, and is called Sovev Kalamin, literally encompassing all worlds. Ve'ein ha'perush Sovev u'makif milmaila b'chinas makrim ches v'shalom ki lo shayech klal b'chinas makrim beruchnios. The meaning of this is not that it encircles and encompasses from above spatially, God forbid, for in spiritual matters the category of space is in no way applicable. But the meaning is that it encircles and encompasses from above, insofar as the revelation of this influence is concerned. Elu ratze leimar soivev umakiv milmaila le'inyan bechinas giloi hashpa. For influence, which is in the category of revelation in the worlds, is referred to as investiture, being clothed within the worlds, for the influence that they receive is clothed and comprehended by them. In example, they are able to comprehend and realize it. Ki hashpa shehu bechinas giloi halamos nikreis b'shem halbasha shemislabeshes ba'olamos ki heim malbishim umasigim hahashpa shem kablim. Ma she'en ken hahashpa she'ena bevchinas giloi ela behester v'helem ve'en ha'olamos masigim oisam einam nikreis. mislabeshes ela makefes v'soiveves. Whereas the influence which does not come from within the category of revelation, but remains obscure and concealed, and is not apprehended by the worlds, is not described as being invested in them, but as encircling and encompassing them. Hilkach me'achar shaha'alamois hein bivchinas gevul v'sachlis nimsa she'ein mashpas or ein sof mislabes umisgala behem bivchinas giloi rachma at mizer ha'ara me'etez umutsum tsemez ma'od ma'od. Therefore, since the worlds belong in the order of the finite and limited, it follows the only an extremely minute and contracted reflection of the flow of the infinite light of the blessed Ein Sof flows and manifests itself in them in a revealed form. V'hi rak kadei v'hachayosan sam bivchinas gevul v'sachlis, and this only to animate them in a finite and revealed state. In order for creation to come about, there must necessarily be at least some glimmer of godly illumination, albeit in an extremely limited form, for this enables creation to be finite and bounded. Aval ikar haor bli tzimtzum kol kach nikra makif v'soivev me'achar she'en hashpasoi misgales b'soicham me'achar shehem bivchinas gevul v'sachlis. But the principal light that is without contraction to such an extent is called makif, encircular, and sovev, encompasser, since its influence is not revealed within the worlds, inasmuch as they belong in the order of the finite and the limited. Takeaway: if God is infinite and the world is finite, there must then be an infinite energy which does not penetrate the limitations of the world. It remains relatively pristine and encompasses the world.